but also, what is your plan for open communication for these issues and also responding to constituent concerns?
Thank you. Yeah. So the transparency at the town of Oakville, as I understand, that it is a very transparent policy that the town of Oakville has, and all the issues to be discussed are always on their website, oakville.ca, and also on the Beaver. If you open up your Beaver, you will always find issues to be discussed and ahead of time. So you are invited to come to the town of Oakville and be there, because that's important. You've got your presence is very important there. So you can voice your opinion and speak up about the issues that are happening. And you can also write to me now that you will have my email address, my phone number, and you can send me an email anytime you want for any issues that might be happening. We cannot just sit at home and say that, oh, this happened, that happened, but we've got to be there, we've got to voice our opinion and speak up about the issues happening. So please take a flyer of mine. My phone number is there, my email address is there, and you can write to me about any issues that are happening. Thank you.
Candidate Reed?
I started in my opening outlining the answer to this question without knowing this question was going to come up. So I'll just reiterate that, in that I'm a firm believer in complete transparency, and I'm a completely open book, and anyone can call or email me anytime and I will respond to those questions. As I indicated before, I want to have the interactive website for Ward 5 and also have online town hall meetings once a week to address issues, get the feedback, stay in touch. Other ways, of course, are to attend the meetings, follow social media to a certain degree, and I ask a lot of questions. Today, for example, preparing for the debate, I called a colleague because climate change, I thought, might be one of the questions, and so I just, I wanted to get information. I ask a lot of questions, and I think that helps to keep in the loop. Thank you.
Candidate Sandhu?
Thanks so much. As far as transparency is concerned, making communication very clear and better with the constituents. I'm very, very accessible. Again, you can call me, email me, phone, text, anything, and I'll be able to answer your questions to the best of my ability. And then I think before any process starts, the government should ask for people's input, remind them to be part of the process, so that they know, they are aware that that's how they find out how the whole process is taking place, and they're part of the transparency as well. They can see how things are happening. Very important. It's not like when election comes up, then people all of a sudden this transparency issue. Be part of the process throughout the years, not just all of a sudden, no sudden changes. Thank you.
Candidate Noel?
Thank you for the question. So the first part of the question was staying current with issues. So to stay current with issues, I attend the annual AMO conference in Ottawa, and stay on top of that. I stay in touch with AMO on a regular basis about new developments from Queen's Park and the federal government. I read everything I can get my hands on. I stay on top of webinars, seminars, etc. Attend all briefings and all meetings. In terms of accessibility and communications and being available in the community, as Mark mentioned earlier, we hold non-statutory meetings ahead of the statutory meetings to get early input on new developments. We have a new Ward 5 Facebook page that we started about a year ago, regular newsletters. We are experimenting with the active live streams so that people can actually interact with us instead of coming to town hall meetings. We used to do town hall meetings here every month, I believe it was, or every 2 months, but we just weren't getting the attendance, so we're trying the electronic method now. I'm in the community all the time. I'm constantly holding events, movies in the park, Oak Park Neighborhood Center. I attend many, many events in the community, and I'm constantly accessible. And if you can't find me at town hall, one of these events, then you can often find me standing in the lobby of my theater enjoying a big bag of popcorn. So I'm always available. That's third party outsourcing, I'm sorry. So I am constantly available. I do my very best to be timely on responding to email and phone call queries. Once in a blue moon, I hear about somebody said they didn't respond or didn't respond quickly enough. When you have no staff at Town Hall and you serve on the number of committees that I do, it's sometimes hard to provide a 24-hour answering period. I try to get back within a couple of days, or now have one of the receptionists at the Town Hall staff at Town Hall to do that. Recently, out of my own pocket, I hired an executive assistant who works one day a week to help me stay on top of my work too, because I really enjoy that bell.
Camden and Walville?
I will count it a real success if I avoid the bell. Town TV is great. You can watch a lot of stuff as a non-elected person on that. You can read, you can go on the website, as my fellow candidates have already alluded to. I would say to you, how can I best communicate with you? Because if you're over 55, social media may not be it. Although I know a lot of people in their 70s and 80s who use it. So I would be asking you, very early in the privilege of serving you again as your Ward 5 Regional Councillor, how may I best communicate with you? And yes, proactive is really important. One of the people who pledged their support me today went to some of those meetings on the 6-line proposal at the bottom of the QEW of Radcliffe. What he said was, despite what the incumbents may have thought they did, was he felt they were both advocating for the developer, not for him. And he came right on board in terms of declaring his support. We spent about 15 minutes learning about how he experienced that, not how the incumbents thought the people in that area of interest experienced it. 5 single-family homes going to an 80-unit townhouse. Who would have thought that that would have been acceptable to the people in that community? Who indeed? So I will ask you, I will respond in multiplicity of ways to ensure communication works and is transparent.
We will start this question with regional town councillor candidates. Candidate Noel the first. The question is, many Ward 5 residents have lived here their whole lives. Their kids cannot afford to live here. What will you do about it?
First of all, I apologize for this. I have to rebut that. I voted against that proposal all 3 times. That was not working with the developers. We provided good, proactive communication with the community to avoid the problems. We heard distinctly that the community did not want it. I have voted against it. In fact, I moved the motion all 3 times to defeat the staff reports, and that's why that is at the OB right now. In terms of this issue, this is an incredibly important issue. I have 5 kids. I'm very lucky that 3 of my 5 kids live in Oakville because one lives at home so we can afford it. The other was very lucky that she has a good job and can live here. And I have another son that's renting that really wants to stay in Oakville but can't. I believe that finding affordable options in this community is absolutely critical. And for that reason, I've been spending a lot of the last 18 years on council, 15 of them in fact, as president of the Halton Housing Corporation. I've worked through health and social services to find solutions for affordability. I chaired the Affordability Housing Task Force, and we came up with a whole series of suggestions, many of which are being implemented today. The province recently provided the possibility of something called inclusivity zoning, which allows us to work with developers to actually create guaranteed affordable housing components to new developments. So when those regulations come online, I'm going to be the first one lined up saying, we want one of those too in our area because we have to be able to provide affordable housing, not just for us and our grandkids, but for businesses that want to attract people to move into this community so they can be viable and have the best talent possible without having to first be a millionaire and buy into this community.
Candidate Howard.
I'm sorry if I pushed the button. I didn't in any way suggest that Councillor Noel voted for it. I said the gentleman felt he was advocating for the developer, not for the people. Just so there's clarity, I didn't say he voted for it. In terms of innovative housing, we're not just talking about geared to income housing. We're talking about in the subdivision I live in, when you could buy a semi for $22,000. Oakville Council, happened in 1971. Oakville Council of the day went into a partnership and researched that plan. So I think it's doable. We have a database with other communities. We need to look at what they're doing. We need to cut we need to look at the cost of growth There's a proposal at a very early stage of building residential as part of Oakville Place. The people who own Oakville Place are actively looking at that. Makes a lot of sense. There's already the concrete there. There's already the parking there. Why can't we have multi-use in some of the existing footprints that are underutilized for so much of the time? I think every night you drive past Oakville Place, it's empty. Why couldn't you look at putting some innovative housing in there that people could purchase or people could rent, so that the nurse's assistant, the teacher's aide, the people who care for us when we're most vulnerable, our children in daycare, can live, work in the same community they provide invaluable services. We can do better. Together we will.
Thanks so much once again. Again, like I mentioned before, certain percentage of new development can be allotted for a low-cost housing. Depends on the negotiations, whether you are able to talk with the builder and come to some solid conclusions. And of course, convert existing housing. So some of them are large bungalows. They can easily convert into smaller apartments. So maybe people who are living there forever, they can rent some of the portions and they can share with their kids. Upstairs can be shared with the kids, because that's for now, that should be the most cost-effective solution for now. Then making all those units energy efficient, so they can cut a lot of cost on that as well, on utilities, bills, etc. And again, like I said before, about government subsidies and grants. Please, I think it's very important.